What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to talk a little bit about what I think we should do in the draft, what I think the Colts should be thinking. Now, of course, this is all going to depend on who's in front of us, what are their needs, does anybody trade up to go get the player that I think we should get. And this is all predicated around the tight end conversation, right? And in my opinion, tight end is where we need to go in the draft. It's our biggest need this upcoming offseason. When you look at the team as a whole, and you just think, man, how could our team just go to the next level? Well, you put a reliable pass catching tight end on the team, and I think that changes everything. And you get somebody that can be a pass catcher and a blocker. That's really what we've tried to do, right? Under Chris Ballard, that's what we've tried to do. Now, we did put out a video about, whether or not Chris Ballard should still be the GM next year, and how to begin the offseason, starting with Chris Ballard and that whole conversation. If you didn't see that video, then after this one, go check that one out. Very split reaction and almost 50-50 in the comments of people that agree with me, people that disagree with me, people very split on what should happen with Chris Ballard. But nonetheless, when you look at it, Chris Ballard, he's gotten a bunch of freaks at tight end. Unfortunately, Jelani Woods continues to just be hurt. We had him there for a while in 2022, but we had Matt Ryan, so didn't really matter. And now he's just hurt all the time. So with him not really working out, with us looking at options, right? Kylan Granson, last year of his contract, Mo Cox, who knows if he sticks around? Maybe he sticks around for not much money, and maybe we end up letting him go, right? Maybe we let Jelani go. Right, with his injury situations, maybe we just let him go. Drew Ogletree, what's his future look like? And so I just think addressing the tight end, putting that around Anthony Richardson, giving Anthony Richardson a good safety blanket is a great option, right? Because the way this offense works and what we're asking of Anthony Richardson, hey, sometimes you got to take that check down. Well, if he doesn't believe in his tight ends hitting, and we don't have to go and get open, right? Like Travis Kelce, like that has the Kelce routes. And of course, it's not every receiver and every tight end is going to have it. But, just knowing in the play, how to go get open. And the guy that I think we should go get for tight end, there's a reason I say all this because, and this guy, Tyler Warren. If you haven't heard of Tyler Warren, he's a tight end from Penn State. And I myself, I'm not the biggest college football fan, but I have seen people talking about, specifically Colts fans, talking about Tyler Warren for about half the season now, maybe a little more. And so I've been looking into him, and the more I look into him, the more I'm impressed with him. Obviously, definitely some growth to be had there. Physical ability, not exactly what you want, right? But he's a tight end, and he's a bigger tight end, big, strong tight end, but he does have good athletic ability. It's just like the change of direction stuff, right? He's still a little stiff. You want to work on that maybe, as he gets into the NFL, some pliability, some Pilates, right? There are definitely going to be some things to work on, but in terms of his versatility, I mean, he can do a lot of different things. He played quarterback in high school, so he's seen the game from that way, which is why I like when you bring a guy in that knows the game from the quarterback position, right? Played it throughout high school, was a bigger guy, versatile quarterback, ends up changing positions, very versatile tight end. That's the thing as you look into him. That's the thing that like everybody continues to talk about, his versatility, everything that he can do. You look up his current scouting report, it paints the same picture of a guy that's versatile and just able to do a lot of different things. Again, like he has like tight end athletic ability, but I think my comparison, and maybe it's because he wears number 44 at Penn State, but like in my opinion, as I watched him, like very comparable to Dallas Clark, a bigger tight end, a little bit stiff, but really reliable, really good at being able to get open, really good catching the ball in traffic. A guy that, and Tyler Warren is a guy that can play tight end. He's a good blocker, also a good pass catcher, right? Being asked to do more as a pass catcher here in 2024 for Penn State, and he's been able to increase his production enough to really shoot up into probably a first round pick. And he's somebody that can be put as a fullback, right? Get in the backfield and be used as a fullback and be used in the H-back role, right? And the Colts run a lot of pistol formation, right? And some of the things that you see Kylan Granson doing in the backfield, just imagine a guy named Tyler Warren in that position. As I sit here and I imagine him running routes out of the backfield from those positions, right? From those pistol formations or shotgun formations, or him being a lead blocker for Anthony Richardson with his size, his athletic ability, his blocking, as good as he is as a blocker and as powerful as he is. I mean, basically an extra offensive lineman, but just more athletic, right? Get him in Q pulling to the left on a block. I just see it in my mind, and it's like, man, this is the guy that Shane Steichen needs in his offense. The more I've seen it, the more I've seen other people talk about it, which I got to give them, again, I'm not huge on college, right? I depend, when it comes to, looking at college guys, I depend on other people's knowledge to gather my own information, right? And form my own opinion. That's just the way I am, because I'm not, watching college football all the time. So, Tyler Warren, as I continue to look into him, I'm so impressed with everything that you can do with him, right? The direct snaps, you think near the goal line, right? Come out because he was a former quarterback, right? You think about the Philly. And of course, that wasn't Shane Steichen, right? That was Frank Reich and Doug Peterson. But nonetheless, the film on that is out there. You can run that play with Tyler Warren, and if the pass is there, he can pass it, or he can run it, or there, multiple options to pass it off, or maybe, different ways you be able to run it and have a lead block, or whatever the case may be, right? Coming out of that Philly, or different ways. We've seen different packages from Shane, especially specifically inside like the 5-yard line, but different packages from Shane over time, where just Tyler Warren, his ability as a pass catcher, his ability with the ball in his hands, the ability as a passer, like the all-around game from Tyler Warren is like, this is what we need to focus on, like as we go into the offseason. What we don't need to do is go and dip into free agency. I don't know if there are any big-time free agent tight ends, because I don't care if there are any big-name free agent tight ends. I think going into the draft, wherever we finish, if we end up with 10 wins, and squeak into the playoffs, and we're in the later first round, that'd be a little tougher, in my opinion, to go get Tyler Warren. But maybe, right? Tight ends. It's not like everybody's drafting tight ends. Some people might see him being stiff as a bad thing. I think I think it's not ideal from as an athletic standpoint, especially in the NFL. You want these guys to be a little flexible, be a little pliable, but nonetheless, he's still a great athlete. The skills that he possesses are immense, and I think will be incredibly helpful for whatever team ends up drafting him. We see what Brock Bowers is able to do, right? And there was talk of us going and getting Brock Bowers. He gets drafted before we were able to pick him up, right? Gets drafted 2 picks in front of us to the Raiders, and he's balling out, right? Gets an insane amount of targets, insane amount of catches. I haven't checked up on that situation, but probably going to break all the rookie tight end records if I had to guess. Maybe not touchdowns. I haven't really followed along that much, but in terms of catches, targets, and yards, he's probably going to shatter those records. But he's balling out. It's possible, right? Now there are other people, right? When you look at some of the tight ends that are going to be drafted, obviously the Michigan tight end Colston Loveland, he's the first ranked tight end currently. I'm looking at PFF here and looking at their rankings. He's tight end 1, the big board ranked 20. This is still very early. Big board ranked 20, whereas Tyler Warren is big board ranked 31. Those are the only 2 tight ends who would be ranked with the first round grades, right there with 20 and 31. And with those, maybe it is possible that the Colts are able to end up, making the playoffs or winning 9 games and picking at, 16 or 18. And still being able to get Tyler Warren. If that's possible, that's great. Will that still be possible after the combine and after pro days and after more time goes on, right? Whatever happens here in the college football playoff, like what's going to happen as we go along. But what I do know is that as we continue to talk about the all season, the one thing that needed to be addressed is tight end. It's the one thing that I really don't think we've talked a whole lot about coming into this season. We talked a lot about it and who's going to step up and which one of these guys I hope steps up, and none of them have stepped up. None of them are the guy. So as we go into the future with expiring contracts, guys that have been injured, guys. Now Drew Ogletree is, I believe, the best blocking tight end in football. I'm pretty sure I saw that on Twitter the other day. Maybe it was just from week 13, but I think it was from whole season. A Drew Ogletree, like the best blocking tight end in the NFL. So maybe that's his role on the team. He'll be like, when he's in, we know there's a good chance we could be running, right? And just use him as a blocker. Whereas Tyler Warren, you bring him in, you can put him in the slot, you can put him in the backfield, you can give him a direct snap, you can line him up on the line, whatever the case may be. Just a lot of versatility that can come to the tight end room. Jelani Woods coming back. Is he able to stay healthy? That's going to be a massive question. And hopefully he is, right? And then you get the combination of Tyler Warren, Jelani Woods, Drew Ogletree. Like, that trio going into the future would be good, right? You have versatility in different ways. Drew Ogletree, obviously, up and down, but nonetheless, right? You have three guys that can block. You have three guys that can pass catch. You have three guys that have different sorts of skill sets that you can exploit. Whereas right now we have a tight end room of misfits, right? And then of course you add Will Mallory into that. I almost forgot about Will Mallory and putting him in there. Then those four tight ends carry us into the next few years of the future with Anthony Richardson, and I think that could be a really good thing. So that's what I think the Colts should be focused on this offseason going into the draft. Put your focus into going and getting Tyler Warren. What's it going to take? How much are you going to have to move? Do you have to move up, right? And that's what we'll keep track of here on this channel. How much are the Colts going to have to move to go get the guy that they want? Or, if the season, if just everything falls apart here at the end of the season, right? And we draft, top 10 or top 12, whatever the case may be, right? Do we end up trading back? Will that be a situation? So we'll continue to monitor this, and we'll continue to have more talks throughout this week about going into the future, things that we need to look at to make this team better. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about Chris Ballard. There were some pretty strong reactions to that one. And again, it was 50-50, people making good points and just things that I saw that I want to respond to. And so we'll probably come back to Chris Ballard conversation. We'll talk more about the rest of the team and what to do in the offseason, right? We're here in the bye week. So right now we have a week 14 bye week. The offseason is right around the corner anyway. So right. So I just feel like it's a pretty good time to start bringing this stuff up, touch base on it right now, get your guys' opinions. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts on this is. If you didn't watch the Chris Ballard video, go let me know what your thoughts are on the Chris Ballard video. This is going to be a really good week for me to really see where you guys are at, getting my opinion out there and seeing where you guys are at and kind of putting my notes together on where the pulse of Colts Nation is as we continue to go through the season and then get into the off season. So again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Of course, make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any more content on this channel. And of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.